Are you going to do the same thing today you did yesterday and expect a different result? Change what you think, change what you do, and tomorrow will be different from today. You know why it's so simple for me? Because I have a lot of experience. You can only change your tomorrows by changing yourself today. Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration, The Power is Within podcast. Glad you could join us here today, as always. And we're running a little late, thanks to our cameraman, Frank. Yeah, he said we were ready at 5:58. That reminds me, when you ask a woman when she's ready and she says, I'm ready to go, what that really means is give yourself another 5 or 10 minutes, then she'll be coming out the door, right? Okay, so who do we have with us today on our panel?
I'm Claire, I'm 20.
I'm Pauline, I'm 15.
I'm Brett, I'm 15.
I'm Henry, I'm 18.
And you all know who I am. So today's topic is going to be why women take advantage of some men. So what do you think, guys? Claude, why do you think some women take advantage of men?
I personally think when a man starts getting in a relationship or something like that, they start to become more comfortable and becoming less of a man and start getting weak, which is why when women see that, they take that as an opportunity to take advantage of men.
Well, I agree 100%. We were talking about that on Command Confidence with Rob just a little while ago. He had me on his show. Now, what do you think about the women that take advantage of men, or why some men just will be giving a woman everything she wants and they're not getting any reciprocation? Like they'll take them out to eat, they'll buy them things, they'll do things for them, but yet there's no romantic interest. But the guy is hoping someday that she's going to see how wonderful I am and fall in love with me. Why do you think that happens, Claude?
Shoot. I think that's probably, like you said, they're looking for something, but if women aren't looking for anything, they're just going to, how do I explain it? They're just going to take that as an opportunity to get whatever they want. I mean, if they see that, he's not trying to do anything, but it's mainly about he's being way too nice. He's giving her too much. And, women don't want everything given to them.
They don't respect a man like that, when he's too good to them. I've actually experienced that myself. I've given too much in a relationship, and the more I give, the less they give. I think you have to follow the old 2/3 rule. For every third they do, for every 2/3 they do for you, you do a third for them. Mm-hmm. At least it's been my experience that anytime I give as much or more than what they're giving me, the reciprocation on their end drops down lower and lower. And it gets to where they lose respect for me. And I don't know why that is. I can do the same thing with a man. In my business relationships, we give each other equally. Sometimes I give more to my clients, and it may not come back to me from that person, but I know with my employees, the more I help them to do their job and the more I give them, the more they give back to me usually. They appreciate it when I maybe buy them lunch or give them extra time or something like that, or give them a raise, is where when you do that with a woman, it almost seems like she disrespects you for it. It's really strange. So, Paulina, why do you think some men get taken advantage of by women? You should know more than all of us.
Probably, I guess it kind of depends on how the guy acts whenever the woman's with him. So, say he's being too, I guess you could say, lovey-dovey. I guess that's another reason why girls take advantage.
What do you mean by too lovey-dovey?
So, constantly complimenting.
I can't live without you.
Yeah, that type of stuff.
You're everything I ever dreamed of.
I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of guys get taken advantage of.
I can't live without your love.
And not only that, but I mean, I'm kind of guilty of that. I've done that before.
Surely not.
I've done that before, and it's actually really easy, and the guys are very vulnerable when it happens. They don't realize it. They just think it's like a form of love, and they're just too scared of losing that girl that they kind of let it happen. Some guys know that it's happening, but they let the girl do it because they feel like they can't have anybody else or have anybody as good or do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about someone when they allow you to take advantage of them?
I want to leave them because of the fact that they could let a female do that. It shows that they aren't manly and they don't have much masculinity or anything.
But it's almost like they're asking you to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're like putting themselves out there. Just please talk to me and I'll just give you whatever you want.
Yeah.
Give me some attention.
That's exactly how it is. It's kind of the same as putting a girl on the spot by saying, oh, I can't live without you, don't leave me. It's kind of the same as that. It's like you're putting the girl on the spot and she doesn't want to be there. But the fact that you're like, oh, I'm going to, KMS, whenever they say
Terminate
that
my existence.
the girl wants to leave, but obviously at the same time they don't because they're worried that the guy's actually going to do it.
What a burden. What a burden. What were you going to say, Claude? You had a comment?
I was going to say that she's right. There's a lot of people that they know that's happening to them, but they let it happen. They just, I don't know why, but they just let it happen to them.
Well, you could see if they were getting some reciprocation from the woman, like if she was calling and saying, hey, I want to spend time with you, or she was being romantic or intimate with them. But a lot of these guys never get a kiss, do they?
No.
So
maybe a hug. Like, where am I hugging at?
Well, yeah, a little simple.
Don't they have a thing for hugs on emojis? Maybe
Yeah.
They get emojis. That's what they get. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How easy is it for girls to just hit those emoji buttons?
It's actually really, really easy.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the time, if a guy were to compliment me or something, I just send like a little, it's like a greater than 3 sign. So it's like the greater than sign and then the 3. So it makes a heart. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I usually
really don't know, but do you send beating hearts? Boom, boom.
No, I don't ever use emojis, mainly because I think it's too much. Even as a girl, I don't use them. Like,
Really?
I know I don't like guys that use emojis unless it's like an emoji as a joke or something, like something funny happened and you're using it as a joke. But like even me as a girl, I don't like using emojis because I find them very cringy.
Yeah,
like
I don't use them anymore. I quit using them. I discourage people from using them, especially men, because it's not very manly. But a lot of guys use them and have success with them, I suppose. But I come from a different time. Okay, Brado, what do you think? Why do some men get taken advantage of?
Pretty much from what they just said, they said everything. But what I've seen from like kids in my age group is they'll show like that they have no other choice, so they'll like put everything they have, like show all their love.
Lack mentality.
Right. So they'll show all their love, give everything from the start, and then they'll end up being the one being broken in the end.
Yeah, another way they get taken advantage of is when they're talking to a girl that they like, they'll send them a long ass sentence about how they love them and all that, and they'll push that onto them, and then they think, okay, yeah, they'll be like, oh, okay, well if he's just gonna do this, if he's this weak, I'm not gonna get with him, or this is my opportunity to take advantage of him however I feel necessary.
They start thinking, I'm kind of hungry. Billy, would you take me out to dinner?
Finally, there's my chance.
Yeah.
And then you have the guys too that have never met the woman in real life, and they're sending them money and stuff, and here, let me pay for your dinner, and
get yourself something nice.
Yeah, cash app them money, and all they need is a little bit of attention.
Yeah, some girl asked me a couple days ago if she was like, can you give me like $10? And I was like, no. I was like, why would I give you $10 first of all? And then I was like, I can't even give her $10. I don't got Cash App. I don't really use that.
It's kind of like OnlyFans. These guys are so, I guess, desperate for some kind of attention, and I guess you could say, well, why don't they just go to Pornhub or something like that? But on these OnlyFans, they actually feel like they have a relationship with the person. So I guess they pay for that. And it's so easy for women to I guess they can take a video of whatever they're doing and send it to this guy. I mean, it doesn't take a couple seconds, and guys will send them 100, 150 or whatever they send, $10, $5. I don't know what they send for photos. But where they make the real money is on the private conversations with these guys and send just certain photos to them, which they've probably sent to dozens of other guys already, or videos, or some people even have sex on there and they send those photos of them having sex with someone. So, but I think it gives the person, the buyer, let's say, a feeling of control, or that she likes him enough that she's sending him this specific photo or video just for me. And then they talk to them. So what was it? The girl that makes the most money really she's really not the most attractive. She just has a girl next door personality where these guys think that she really cares about them. And maybe she does care about her fans, who knows? But she got like 1 million of them, doesn't she? So I don't know she could care.
There's this other thing. It's called the girlfriend experience, and you can pay like a female to act like she's your girlfriend. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, there's guys that do that, because I guess I don't know if they've never had a girlfriend or maybe just broke up with their girlfriend. I don't know.
Probably for some validation.
Bless you.
I did that on the dang show I was doing today. I had to sneeze. Well, let's think about that. So the girlfriend experience. Now, I posed this question to Rob and what's his name? Tino, I think. Anyway, he's Italian. Do you think this has something to do with the young men and young people growing up with what's it called? Social media and the availability of porn from the time they're old enough to hold a cell phone? So they live vicariously, or they're actually growing up vicariously, living through social media and websites such as whatever's available out there. So this is just their idea of what a relationship is like, because they have relationships, if you want to call it that, with people on the internet. Either maybe Kevin he tells them about these guys, Mr. Beast, and and they communicate through the messages, and sometimes he responds. So they grow up like these are real relationships. As you guys know, I've helped people, and they'll contact me and talk about this relationship they got going, and you'd think that and say, well, they've been talking to somebody for a week through messages. They've never met them, but the men are so invested in this relationship, and you don't even know the person. So do you think it's because they're growing up with this style of almost programming that this is the way life is and this is how relationships are?
Well, most kids, they grow up just like having no social experiments. They have their phones like half their lives. They're always putting their face in their phone, so it's like they have no social experience. So they think like messages are the best thing.
Yeah, they don't know any better. That's their whole life is in screen. I know I get frustrated, or it kind of aggravates me. Sometimes you be out and everybody's got their phone in their face. You can't even say hi to anybody. They don't recognize the outer world. So it's almost like this is their world, and they don't know any better or different. So to them, I guess it's okay to have a relationship online. And of course, with Pornhub and like OnlyFans, I guess they sit there and can masturbate and fantasize about being with the girl, and then that's how they get their manly needs satisfied. I suppose.
Yeah.
Well,
another thing I was gonna say is I had a buddy who was talking to this one girl, and I don't know, like you could, like now that I think about it, you could kind of tell that she was taking advantage of his time just to like get herself some validation. Like you could tell she wasn't really. You could tell she kind of started getting bored of him, because he kept continuously calling her over and over, and at that point it just became like, hey, here's some free validation.
Well, I have girls, proposition me all the time on WhatsApp about, they'll send me messages, hey, do you want some sexy videos, or do you want to do a sex cam call? And it's like, no, I'm a kind of in-person guy. I like to meet people. And I have asked them, and they tell me that I have asked them why they do that, and they said a lot of men prefer that, to have online sex via video cam. And so because they're always hitting me up, and I say I'm really not, they're offering videos and photos, and they send the prices, and it's like I'm really not interested in that, but that's a common thing.
Yeah, and it's easier for people to do that instead of having to actually go talk to people, they're afraid of rejection or failure or whatever happens to be.
Yeah. And I suppose if you got some beautiful woman coming on to you and you've never been with beautiful women, that would be quite flattering.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't mean anything to me because I know they just want some money and they're probably doing it to 1,000 other guys, but it's a constant thing.
Yeah, another thing is that a lot of men get taken advantage of because they end up having those relationships over the phone. It's as easy as here, like I'll send you a picture if you like give me more attention or something like that, or send me some money, like yada yada yada, and they're just too afraid to go out there and talk to somebody. It's like Henry said, it's the fear of rejection.
Well, yeah, if I had never been with, I've had quite a few women in my life, but if I had never been with many women, I guess I would be flattered if some beautiful girls were contacting me and sending me nudes and different things like that if I didn't know any better. But there's nothing like actually being with somebody in person.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the way with how the internet is like evolving and everything with the metaverse, it's only going to get worse because there's like the headset, like with the metaverse, they're making like a headset or glasses,
virtual reality.
Yeah.
It's like evolving the virtual reality world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like rumors of being like chips, quote unquote chips, being like planted in the back of your head, some crap like that.
Yeah, who knows?
And then they also have like nowadays they're coming out with the realistic sex dolls and stuff like that. So people really don't even have to try.
Back when I was a kid, they had the plastic. I never seen one, but I seen them advertising the plastic girl with the warm water belly. So that was as advanced as they had back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I've actually heard of people ordering these dolls, and I don't know, they talk or what?
Yeah, I
guess they're probably pretty realistic. What are the prices on those?
Oh, they're expensive.
Yeah.
Supposedly,
Like
really, I don't know how much yet.
Like
I guess
a few $100s.
Yeah,
I think it's more, probably like in the
I
thousands.
guess the more realistic, the more expensive.
Yeah, and then like they're programmed to like reply to what you're saying or act a certain way.
Oh, Daddy, Mom.
Yeah, like no, seriously, like actually the stuff like that. So.
Oh my gosh. We're going to non-breed ourselves out of existence here. A lot of people are opting out for not marrying, and a lot of these guys are virgins and are in their 20s.
Mm-hmm.
That was almost unheard of when I was younger, and a lot of them are not wanting to have kids anymore, which is, I understand why. Here in the U.S., is according to the divorce laws and the involvement of the system within the marriage, 50% divorce rate. It's not a very good idea for a man to marry. I mean, it's risky as heck for a man to marry here in the States.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't doubt if like the percentage of like male virgins has probably gotten higher because you got all these women getting validation left and right.
Right.
But
a lot of these women think, and maybe Pauline can tell us, a lot of these women think all them guys are screwing somebody. Is that what you think? Mm-hmm. But it's not true. I mean, statistically, I don't know. I forgot what it is, but it's incredible how many men or guys aren't 18 to 23 are still virgins. I really think that has a lot to do with the satisfaction the false satisfaction they're able to get from internet women, Pornhub and different places. And then they have those sites where you can pay and the girl does what you want her to. What are the webcams or what's that? Chatterbait or some of those things.
Yeah. There's also another thing where a lot of guys, I think half the reason why a lot of girls think that guys are, sleeping with somebody else is because the guys claim to. Like, I know a couple guys my age who claim to have like a body count of like 4, but they're actually a virgin.
Really?
Yeah. And I can tell when a guy's lying. For me, it's very easy to tell. I think the reason why is because I've been raised around guys, so I know when a guy is lying or when he's telling the truth. So with me, it's like when a guy's not being honest, it's very easy for me to just like automatically tell.
Like that meme where he's like, "Did you hit?"
I was trying to think when I hit double digits, probably when I was, 15 or 16, maybe 14. No. I don't really remember. Probably around 15 years old, I started going out and partying, and I think that's when I hit double digits, and 16 and 17. Actually, the most of the women I was with was between the ages of 15 and 29. Then after that, I started getting married. Well, I was married once before, but so then I pretty well stuck with the same girl, but I had a few off and on since then.
Well, then here, I got a question for you. What do you think with the generations now, what do you think that is kind of the right age to marry?
First off, it's a coin toss. As I said, here in the States, to get married, you got a 50-50 chance of getting divorced. So you just well flip a coin. Whatever comes up, it might work. For a man, I'd say you better wait until your 30s. But the problem is, I remember when I was about 20, well, I was married when I was 24. But even at that age, I was thinking, man, I better find a wife because if I don't, I'm going to get old and, won't nobody want me. And it's so ridiculous because a man doesn't hit his prime till he's about 35, really. You should be established financially and be set up pretty good. Because a man, I was a much better father in my 50s than I was in my 40s, and better in my 40s and my 30s. And in my 20s, I was married, and I didn't want any kids. I ran around, cheated on my wife, had a harem of women. So I wouldn't have been worth a crap for a father then. So really, I'd say for a man, really good time to get married is late 20s or early 30s. And for a woman, I'd say between the ages of 18 and 25, because after 25, they used to talk about this, women would start telling you you're going to get to be an old maid, which now they would say that's not true. But the deal is, if you don't have kids, and I say this all the time, by the time it's medically proven, if a woman does not have kids by the time she's 30, 90% of her eggs are gone by the time she's 30. They talk about freezing all these eggs, but it's just not. The woman's got the biological clock that's ticking, and they know it. A man doesn't have that. He can still. Who was it? Gosh dang, played in that movie Pretty Woman. Richard Gere. He's 71 or 2, and he just had 2 kids in the last few years. So a man can have kids way up in his 60s and 70s, where a woman, once she hits a certain age, she can't have any more kids. So for a man, I would say early 30s would be the best time. What you need to do in your 20s is get yourself established, and then you become a high-value man, or a man that the women want, and you find your woman about 21, 22, 20, whatever, 18. You're not too old for that, and works out. Probably would work out pretty good. You want to get her before she's too jaded by society, because as you guys know, there are girls that that are washed up by the time they're 18, ran through. And what I mean by that is not to belittle anybody or say their value as a human being is low, but what happens is they go out and they drink, they do drugs, they party, they sleep with double-digit guys. They're in their double-digits body count. And by the time you see what they look like, by the time they're 18, they look like they're 25 or older. They're run down. They've let themselves go. Their liveliness in their eyes is gone. They're dead inside. And then they have all the baggage of all these guys they've slept with. So, it's really difficult. I feel bad for young men because it's going to be difficult. And also for the women. Like for my daughter, she's dated I don't know how many guys, and it's like they all end up becoming weak after a certain amount of time. So to find a man valuable, worthy of marriage for a woman is difficult too. If she values herself and maintains her value by not going out and giving herself away to everyone. And that's something women will say, why is it men can go out and sleep around and women can't? Well, a man has to be somebody and do something before he can get sex. If a man goes in a bar to pick up a woman, he's got to take some action. A woman can just go in there and sit down, and guys are going to be hitting on her. All she has to do is say yes. So she doesn't have to do anything to get sex, but a man actually has to be somebody. He has to take some action. He has to have some game.
Yeah, that's facts. I don't know. What else? Running a little dry here, huh?
Yeah, I guess I was just too focused on you guys listening.
Well, what do you think the solution is? Here we talked about the problem about men getting taken advantage of. I believe that the reason they get taken advantage of is because of low self-esteem, low self-worth. Women don't respect them. So what is the solution? What would we tell our viewers, people watching, young men that have been taken advantage of? How can they rectify that or gain the respect of women to where that doesn't happen to them?
Work on yourself mentally, physically, and I guess spiritually and all that. And if you want to, if you don't got good advice, not good advice, but if you need some advice from women, we got this channel. If you want to find, just go to YouTube, go anybody who can teach you about women. It'll get easier the more you listen to it and the more you try. You're gonna fail here and there, but part of succeeding is failure.
And you said something about people having low self-esteem. Do something with yourself, It's like go start do kickboxing or something like that. I know me and Frank just started boxing and stuff like that, and it really boosted my self-esteem real high. It made me real confident, makes me feel good to do something that I get nervous or I kind of fear. So
a challenge. We need challenges and adversity in our country today. We've made everything so comfortable and safe. be safe.
Well, another
Go ahead. No.
well, another thing that people have low self-esteem is doing like weed and like drug stuff like that. So another thing you could do is just quit doing that.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard at first, but like start up something new. Like go weight train, do something. Go for a walk.
I was going to say, Paulina, what do you think men should do to, I guess boost their self-esteem?
I guess
What do you want a man to be like?
a leader.
You don't want a partner? I had somebody tell me they were arguing with me. She said, I don't want a leader. I want a man that's a partner. I want someone who will put the toilet paper roll back on when it runs out, and somebody who will make the formula for the baby. I'm thinking, and I've had men like that. She said, I'm thinking, well.
They want an equal.
Then again, it's like the way that I think about it is when I get older, I don't want to wake up super early in the morning to go to work. I'd rather stay home and clean and take care of the house than have to wake up at like 4 in the morning to go to work.
Don't you want to step into your power?
Don't
you want a man to empower you and you can be the woman you came here to be?
I think while I'm like, I guess you could say not in a relationship or not married yet, I'd probably want to do stuff like on my own, maybe work, whatever, like do that. But
don't you want to ship your little baby off to daycare?
But then when I get married, that's when I'd want to stay at home.
We got something in the comments.
What's that?
What does it say, Frank? We can't read it.
Because men have this contract.
COVID.
And if they do all these nice things for women, they'll want to give them the box or something.
Yeah, and that's very true. They have this covert contract thinking that if they're nice to girls, and that's a reason why, that's a good point. That's the reason why girls don't like nice guys, because really, they're not nice. They're actually doing something, thinking they're going to get something back, and nobody ever made that deal. So what they do is they do all these things for this girl, and then they go home resentful because she's crying to them about the bad guy who's treated her bad, who doesn't do anything for her except she sleeps with him, and then he dumps her. And then they wonder why. Well, God, I'm here. I'm doing all this stuff. And he listens to her talk about the guy she wants. He thinks, I'm being that guy. But you can't listen to what a girl says she wants usually. You got to watch what she's attracted to.
Yeah, nice.
So they're totally confused. Yeah, they're thinking, God, I'm doing all these nice things. I took her roses. I take her out to eat. I listen to her. I'm her emotional tampon. And then she goes out with Chad, who just got out of jail. And he's got the ankle brace on. He can't even drive. He doesn't have a license. I don't understand.
Kind of like Jerry Springer.
Yeah, Jerry Springer.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, and that's the thing society tells you, you got to be the nice guy that treats her good, brings her flowers and stuff like that. And what I've noticed is with a lot of guys, they end up getting disrespected. I even had a situation like that myself when I was being super nice.
Another thing I was going to say is that lately it's been getting so bad that now you're starting to see posts on Instagram about like how to like focus on yourself and all that sort of stuff. Like there was this one where it said like, what's it called? Well, like when a woman break up and all that, when a man and a woman break up, it says how she works on herself and how he works on himself. And there was like the muscle emoji, the money emoji, the brain emoji, book emoji, and on her there's 3 guys, the party emoji, and then some other one. It was
I think it's very rare for a woman when she breaks up with somebody. Either she's got somebody waiting for her, she monkey branches. I don't think I've known a woman that actually broke up and then stayed single and worked on herself. I'm sure it exists, but it's rare. And a lot of guys don't do it either. They go out and they blame the woman, she's this, she's that, and then they get mad. They turn black pill or MGTOW or incel, because they think women are bad. There's nothing wrong with women. You just have to understand the nature of women. This is the way they are. They don't want to be treated the way you don't treat a woman the way you want to be treated. You treat a woman the way she wants to be treated. And what happens is the nice guy. I recommend a book, No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover. It's very good if you consider yourself a nice guy. You find yourself doing things for women and not getting any reciprocation. But like the guy said in the comments, it's a covert contract. You think if you do this for that, well, then that's transactional romance. Okay, I'll do this for you. You do that for me. That's like going and hiring a sex worker. Okay, I'll give you this money if you give me that. But this is a contract where you didn't even put out in the open and you're pissed because you didn't get back something. You didn't even ask her for it. So what are you mad about? If you give and you don't get anything in return, then you need to walk away. So if you're expecting something for that and there was no agreement, you have no one to be angry at yourself. Why did you think you had to buy her in the first place.
That's facts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Polly, you had people offer to buy you things or
Yeah.
pay you for feet pics? Or?
Yeah, all the time. Actually, there's a lot of guys that'll text me and ask for certain things or send me money just because they just want to send me money. Like, it's very easy to just look up my first and last name and it's on there. Like, if you just look up Pauline Daniels on my Cash App, it's there.
Yeah.
Like, it's a picture of me, it's there, and that's how guys figure out what my Cash App is, and then they usually just send random money.
And they send you money, and do they ask for something or try to talk to you, or what?
I guess it kind of depends on who the person is. I mean, I've had people send me money and literally not talk to me at all, literally block me afterwards and not talk to me. And then there's some guys who will send money and then try to have a conversation with me. And then there's the guys who obviously want pictures and stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, I like philanthropy, so I like to give a certain part of my income away, and I have given to people, girls, but not to get anything from them, because I know when you give, because there's a lot of poor people in the world. I know when you give to people and you expect something in return, they actually have a disdain for you. So I never give to a person that I want something from unless there is an overt contract. We've made some type of an agreement. And, of course, sometimes people don't keep our agreements, just like in my professional businesses. Sometimes people fault on their contracts, and that happens. But it happens with men and women both.
It's kind of a...
You guys are never at a loss for words. Any questions, comments? Questions, comments? Any other questions, Frank? I can't
Kind of
see it from
zoned
there.
out there for a second.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
So if we go back to the solution, what is the solution?
I honestly don't really think there is one.
Well, these guys got low self-esteem and low self-worth. Why do you think they're like that? Do you think no one's teaching them? Is they're taking their mother's advice?
I think it's because they don't have a male role model.
Yeah.
So I think
say that.
there's so many guys out there that are the way that they are, and they're like, obviously there may be a solution, not a full solution, but something that can help them, something like that. I mean, you fixed it, so I think it, like, it can be fixed. Like, you have grown a lot from, like, past relationships and stuff. So I think anybody can do it if they're really up to it. I mean, there's always a guy who says he's going to do that or he's going to try, and then there's this one girl that comes back into his life and it completely all just, like, falls down the drain. Like, all the effort that a guy put into being more masculine all falls down the drain because of one girl that came into their life.
Yeah.
Well, with kids I see, it's the social media that influences them, like how to get girls. Like, it's recently there's been a trend, like a saying, it's called Riz, or like my silent Riz, and it's like,
What's that mean?
Riz is like when you go like this and a girl comes like to you, like when a guy goes like, and then the girl follows them or something.
yeah, and it's like reset. I don't know exactly what the meaning is. Pretty much what Paulina said, but it's like how social media is nowadays. It's like anybody can influence anyone. So it's like,
and speaking of influence, like, you need to hang out with people that are going to influence you in a good way, like strong masculine men. I know I hang out with I have a lot of Frank's had a lot of friends that come over here, and I've given them advice, and some of them taking, like Bredo, he's taking it and he's doing really good, but some other people don't take it, like what's his name, and he was simping out over some girl that was over here, and Frank was technically the Chad at the time, and he stole the girl from
Well, a man needs to learn to control his emotions. It doesn't mean he suppresses his emotion. It just means he doesn't allow them to control his mouth and his actions and his life.
Yeah, another thing I was going to say, since you brought up how like a guy needs to control his emotions, there's been a couple guys that I've been with that like freak out if we get into an argument, like, oh, I just punched a wall and now my knuckles are bleeding everywhere. I mean,
It just really makes you attracted
Frank's
to him, right?
done the same exact thing. Frank has punched doors, and it's like, what do you get out of that? Like, what do you get out of hurting yourself? Like,
Gotta make sure it's drywall.
me and Claude were talking
That's
about that the other day, and it's like, Claude had an example about how if like your leg hurts, you punch it so it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like
when your legs hurting
and like it keeps hurting. You're like, it's starting to get
Maybe
annoying.
a cutter clawed.
No, it starts getting annoying to the point where you like punch your leg or punch your arm thinking it's gonna stop, and then you end up getting just hurting yourself.
Like, I don't understand what a lot of guys get out of that. Like, a lot of guys that I've been with, we've gotten into an argument and they have just done something stupid or act like they've done something stupid to try to guilt trip me. Like, they'll have their friends text me like, "What'd you do to him?" Like, he's bawling his eyes out,
Well,
and it's just like, I don't care.
It's like they want you to be their mom, you know. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, take care of what's wrong, you know, like your mom would if you hurt yourself.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that's also another problem. A lot of girls feel so bad for guys, or they don't feel bad and they just do it so they don't seem like a
Bitches.
yeah, they don't seem that way. So
Yeah.
they take care of the guy. Obviously, I think that's why a lot of guys continue to do it over and over and over, because the girl coddles them as if the girl was their mom.
And then
Yeah.
eventually they start losing
Oh,
respect
what's
for the
wrong
guy.
with that? What's wrong with that,
Yeah,
guys?
She's not attracted to that.
Another thing I was gonna say is
She wants to be a mommy, but to her
Yeah.
kids, not to her boyfriend.
I don't do that punching walls thing. Like if I get pissed, I just chill in my room or I don't know, do something that won't piss me off. But the thing is that if you punch if I'm already if my hand's already hurting or something, and I punch a wall, it's just gonna make me more pissed to make my hand hurt worse.
It's like punching a wall with your right hand, and then that hurts so bad, so you punch it with your left hand to distract it, and then both of your hands
So
hurt.
it sounds a little illogical, doesn't it?
Yeah, also, me and Henry were walking back from boxing one day, and we told this one guy, he was asking us, I guess, about like where we
Do you have
were
a
coming
mic?
from. We said boxing, and we're like, the guy's like, oh yeah, where? And we're like, the gym up there, and we told him, we were like, you should do it, and he's like, oh no, bro, I'm getting too old for that. He's at least like 20.
Yeah, he's not
Oh,
even.
man. He's an
Yeah,
old guy, isn't he?
yeah, that's what he said. But that's the thing too, is it's like if you have some sort of anger or something, put it into something. You know,
Yeah.
go into boxing or something like that. Punch a punching bag. You know, instead of punching the
I think
wall.
boxing kept me out of jail, really, because I had a lot of anger I didn't even know was in there. Suppressed anger from when I was a kid. Or any kind of sport, contact football, UFC, triathlons, soccer. Soccer's not real contact, but it lets you get out that aggression. In a
use
positive
that
way.
anger as determination,
Right. You use it as some fuel
motivation.
to some-
Yeah, anger gets a bad rap. It's really
Hey, at
just
least
an
you can do it
emotion.
legally. You can hit someone legally,
Yeah,
though.
if you do boxing,
Also,
boxing.
another thing with that is like, say you're with your girlfriend and you get really mad and you punch a wall and it's literally right next to her. That's not going to make her feel safe around you.
No.
Like, it's going to make her not want to be around you. Like,
Well, let's talk about Mr. Smith. How did you view that? Did you think Will was a real man when he walked up there and slapped Chris Rock?
Hell
How
no.
did you think about it?
Johnny
no, I
Depp.
think the reason why I don't think that it seemed manly is because of the fact that he was laughing about it until he looked at his wife and
Yeah.
saw that she didn't like that, and
Yeah,
then
that was the
that's when he stood up and did something. But the thing that I just don't get is the fact that she can go and sleep around, and then he still continues to protect her and stuff. Like it I get like he loves her, but it's a bit much.
yeah.
And that was an extremely emotional reaction too. Like,
Yeah, he's disrespecting himself. I
Yeah.
think his value. Now you wouldn't think, of course, with all the parts he plays in movies, is a tough guy, but even that is a sign of low self-esteem.
mhm.
I don't look at it as he was protecting his family. I mean, if he was going to do it, he should have punched him instead of slapping
Yeah.
him like a woman. But
Yeah,
that's
that-
just.
yeah.
I like Will Smith. I think, and I see with the position he's in. I was headed in that direction in some of the relationships I was in, but that didn't get there overnight. My opinion is when he had the red table talk, he would have been more of a man, or viewed more as more of a man too, had he walked away from her then.
Yeah, if he
Because
was
she
just in there,
humiliated
like-
him in public. It looks like to me. I don't think him staying with her when she disrespects him like that is congruent to a good example for his kids or anybody else as far as marriage goes.
Well, also that he was trying to keep his marriage conflict
Yeah.
private, and she wanted to publicize it.
Mhm.
But then again, in all fairness, you never know what she has on him.
Mhm.
Maybe she's got something that could really ruin him, and he's afraid if he leaves her, she'll bring it out. So it's easy to sit back and judge when you're not aware of everything that's going on. Unless you live with him, you don't really know the whole story. So got to give him the benefit of the doubt as far as that goes. And unless you walk a mile in someone's shoes, really hard to judge him. He's a great actor. He's probably a great man. He's just in a tough position. I I don't think the same of him as I used to, but then again, I never really knew him anyway. He's an actor, so who knows how he really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's that one movie I watched a couple times. I watched it with Brayden. It was called After Earth. It's a really good movie. He seems like a man, like the kind of man that people need.
A leader.
Yeah, the leader. It's
because he was in the movie. He was like telling his son what to do, doing everything. But
I'm not a coward. You're the
You're a
coward.
coward.
It's a really good movie though.
Yeah.
Like you should watch it. Like from the movie, you can tell that like that's the kind of man that women want and that men need to be.
Well, that's something else too. The characters, there's very few. It's rare to have characters in movies like that nowadays, or in sitcoms, because they show the woman being 100 pounds and kicking the crap out of these 240-pound CIA special forces,
Flipping them over and
flipping them
stuff.
over and kicking their ass. And it's
Yeah.
like, man,
G.I.
when kids
Jane.
grow up with this, they think that's reality.
Mhm.
It's just not going to happen. I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't in a rare case, but more than likely, not even in a rare case,
or something?
is it going to happen.
nah.
So when you grow up seeing that, you think that's the way things are.
Yeah.
Also, boxing boosted my confidence a lot, especially when it only took me 2 days to get started on sparring.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. After I kicked your ass so many times. No, I'm joking. No, I can't kick his ass.
Yeah.
I have a hard time hitting him. He's so fast.
Another thing I was gonna say is boxing would be really good for you because women want a man who can protect them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Women want a man who is dedicated to something that they
Well, I'm gonna tell you-
like to do.
About this lady I was talking to the other day. She was talking. What did she say? She said, well, we don't want someone to protect us. We don't need a white knight or cavalier and all this. And I'm thinking, yeah, because you live in the U.S. I mean, it's
Wait
like
till a nuke drops and there's World War III.
okay, tell me this.
So you live in
If
the
you lived,
suburbs.
if you lived in the Ukraine, you're going to be looking for a man who knows how to use a gun and can kill somebody. I'll guarantee you, if she was there, she'd be wanting a man like that. But that's what they.
She lives in the suburbs,
Yeah,
the
this-
gated
this-
community.
Yeah, this lady's from New York, and anyway, she made some good points, and I appreciated the fact that she didn't attack my character. She just disagreed with my opinion. Most of the time, when you deal with a woman like that, they'll start attacking your character because they don't. It's like, oh, well, you're old, or you're this, or you're. They'll say something you couldn't get up. Just
You have
low
a-
life
you
crap
have a-
instead of just. So I respect her. I told her I respect her the fact that she
Yeah.
could actually dispute the subject with me without getting emotional. So.
It's like, you have a house husband, don't you? You have a house husband.
Well, she was telling me about how someone broke into her house and her husband. She never said her husband, so I don't know if she's ever been married. How the man she was like 50 something, it looked like. How the man she was with didn't know how to use something, and she ended up hitting the guy with a bat.
house husband.
Yeah, hitting the guy with a bat and calling 911. So she actually did protect from the intruder. But then again, I have to wonder what kind of a man is this guy. Usually, women like that look for a man who's more submissive and more feminine. I would have to say that because I don't see as where a masculine man would want someone who, a lot of women want this equal partnership, and we're just not equal. That's just we're different. We're not the same. Now we're all equal in the eyes of God. I agree to that, but we're not equal as far as biologically, physically, emotionally. It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
We're
it's
all
like
different.
I can't be equal with a dog. I think it's gonna be faster than me regardless of how
That's
fast
true.
I run. Even if I run on all fours, they're just built faster than me. They're built different.
And women usually want to be equal to every man except the one they're with. They want to look up to them. They want to admire them. I mean, it's possible. I guess they could admire each other, and I think women should be admired from their man, but in a different way. Not pedestalized, but maybe admire. You should have a woman that you appreciate and that you respect in a way that you should respect a woman. But not pedestalized. No woman wants to be pedestalized. And how is it? What do you got, a cat over there? What are you doing, Paul? What's going on? Oh, how do you feel when you get pedestalized? You know what that means?
Kind of.
Put you up on a pedestal.
They kind of worship you, like,
Yeah, I don't like it.
You're so beautiful.
I don't like it.
You're better than all these
Like
other
it
girls.
seems nice in the fairy tale movies, but
Yeah.
like the little kid shows.
Don't you want to be treated like a queen,
No.
like the queen, like the princess that you are?
A lot of guys used to call me their queen, and now that I really think about it, it's like, ew, that's gross.
kind of cringy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see on the dating sites a lot of times the women will say, "I want to be treated like a princess. I want you to shower me with gifts." You know what happens when a guy does that? He becomes the guy we're talking about, the guy who gets taken advantage of by women.
I mean, I'll buy you a dress. It ain't gonna be for free though.
Well, I have no problem buying a woman a dress or anything if there's reciprocation.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're sleeping together, we've got a good relationship. She helps me out, comes over and maybe does my laundry or cooks for me or just takes care of me as in a way a man wants to be taken care of. There's no reason I shouldn't do things for her.
She wants the glass heel. I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
Cinderella.
Cinderella. Yeah, they want to be treated like Cinderella. But we all know what happened to her. Oh, she lived happily ever after, didn't she?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like,
Cliche.
but like,
Cliche.
but in a real sense, like.
That's the one that she fell asleep, didn't she? Have to be
No,
kissed?
that
That's
was
Sleeping
Sleeping
Beauty.
No, that's yeah.
Cinderella. I can't remember. But Cinderella had to go. She had the three wicked stepsisters.
She
Yeah,
had
yeah,
the
yeah.
two.
And then the mom.
I can't
The
remember.
stepmom.
Of course, Disney's gone to hell anyway, so
Step-bro.
that's one of their stories. So, what do you see this situation? I think about school now. Most of the teachers in school are female, aren't they?
There's whenever you get to like high school, there's more male teachers.
Yeah.
Are there?
Like gym teachers,
I think
like
it's too late then, though.
the football
Yeah.
and like the track basketball coaches. They're like actual teachers there.
Well, I know I was talking about a situation where Paulina's got a teacher at school that seems to be racist. Was telling her that what you're going to be deported when you're 18 because you're not American. You got to choose your citizenship. But Paulina is an American citizen. She was born in another country, but I was her father. She's registered with the embassy, and she has a birth certificate, born abroad, American citizen. But anyway, this woman was going off on an ad, so I talked to is he the superintendent?
He's the principal.
The principal, I thought it was. Anyway, talked to him about it, and he didn't seem to want to confront it, or he just, I don't know. But
You don't want these problems.
yeah, I don't know how he's going to. I eventually said, you know what, let's just forget it. The school year's almost over. We'll let it go. I was talking to someone who were former teachers, and she said I probably ought to get a lawyer because that's some bullshit that they were saying that stuff. It's pretty damn racist, but whatever. You got to pick your battles.
If she becomes a sophomore teacher, you're being targeted.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next year. But you said she was not very nice to you either because my kids are half Spanish, see, so I don't know.
You gotta tell me what teacher this is. This is
I'll
funny.
tell you after.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
won't
Yeah,
mention her name.
that's what
here.
I'm saying.
Yeah, but I have to wonder. The principal, he's the only man, well, one of the only men out there in the ninth grade center. So I guess he has to be careful what he says to them
Mm-hmm.
because they're women. I would not want to work in a place with men and women because sexual harassment is like if you're good looking and they like you, it's not. But if you're ugly and fat and you say the wrong thing to them, it's sexual harassment. So, and that's determined by how the girl feels or how the woman feels. So I'm sure it's the same way with him. He's got to be careful how he treats the women underneath of him. So I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Not a position I would like to be in. Okay. Any other thoughts on what we can do to
Comments?
help these?
Help these men become.
Well, what advice would you give them? What would you tell? Don't sometimes you try to tell a guy what he's doing because women will actually help you. They'll tell you. I remember I was going out with a girl and she was actually telling me what I needed to do, but I didn't quite get it. Till looking back in retrospect, she was telling me that I was being too open and too emotional. See, because the men are kind of taught that you need to be vulnerable, you need to open up. Women don't like that. You don't want to. Do you want a guy come up to you and say, "Paulina, my dog just died. I don't know what I'm going to do." And he wants to cry on your shoulder.
No.
He wants you to comfort him.
Mm-mm.
No, you don't like that, huh?
No.
Why not?
I,
He's being vulnerable. He's
it's
opening
just
himself up to you.
annoying. It's
Don't
annoying.
you want him to share his feelings?
No.
Why?
I would just rather avoid that. Guys.
There you go. From the
Guys
horse's
have
mouth.
guys have guy friends for a reason.
Exactly.
Like I mean, I don't really know how to.
And some people would say
explain
she's brainwashed because she's here with us, but that is the typical reaction of women around men when the man starts crying around them.
even before you guys gave me all this advice about relationships when I was in 6th grade, maybe guys still did it. And ever since guys started doing it to me, I've always felt uncomfortable. I'm just more aware of the fact that I need to tell them that's not what I want to hear. Even before any of you guys, even before this podcast started or before I talked to you about guys did that to me and I still didn't like it.
How many guys have cried in front of you?
In my arms,
Oh my God.
probably about 10 just in front of me. Plus in my arms, probably about 20 or over 20.
Incredible. But that's the push of society that these women should be more open and vulnerable. These men, I mean, should be more vulnerable and open and share their feelings. It's like, and some women will tell you that they want, oh, I want the guy to be more open. I wish he'd tell me how he felt. Well, you've experienced that, haven't you? Where some girls told you, tell me how you feel. And what happens when you do that?
Like there's a lack of respect there. Usually what happens, I remember in my last relationship when I started being more comfortable, more open, I got disrespected and I had to tell her to leave. Well, she wouldn't leave actually at first.
Yeah, because she lost respect for you.
Uh-huh.
And if you don't respect someone, you can't love them.
Yeah,
Respect precedes love.
I learned my lesson because somebody was like, why don't you date? And next time I'll make sure not to tell the next person why I don't date.
Yeah.
So and she's on me like a dog chasing its own tail.
We say like stink on shit. I think you can cuss a little bit here on YouTube. Just
I
not
want a
too
future
much.
with you. It's like,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't. I don't. I'm sorry, but I don't feel the same way.
You're so mean, Claude.
That's contrary too, because what they say about men and women. Because I don't particularly I don't want a woman coming on to me like that, especially if I'm not interested in her. But it gives you a little perspective on how it is for women when they got guys coming on to them all the time that they don't like, and they're persistent and they won't stop.
They push it on you.
Yeah.
Push it back to you.
Push a T.
It's gonna be hard though. It's gonna be hard pushing it back.
Well, I know back when I was Paulina's age, I don't think I knew any guys that cried in front of girls. That would have been, I mean, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it was pretty unheard of.
Well, first of all, I don't like even just my own friends crying on me because I find tears disgusting for some reason. I just don't like them. But then if it's like a guy that I'm talking to or I'm dating, it makes me even more uncomfortable. Like, I don't let anyone cry on me, even if it's a girl. Because I have my own emotions to deal with. I don't need the guy that I'm talking to cry.
But you
all
cry.
over
I've seen
me.
you cry.
Yeah.
You don't have a problem.
Yeah, I don't have
expressing your emotions.
I do not have a problem with that, like, at all. But if I'm upset about something and I have my own emotions to deal with, and then the guy that I'm talking to or the guy that I'm dating starts crying for me because he feels bad, then it's kind of like, what do I say? What do I do? I can't give you any advice because I'm not a guy.
You want to be able to lean on him. You don't want him leaning on you, do you?
No.
Is there a song called "Lean on Me"?
Lean on me.
When you're not strong,
When you're not
I'll be your friend. I help you get. I don't know if those are the correct words or not. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up here tonight. We hope that has been some value to you and helped you out. So if you're simping and crying in front of your woman, listen to what Paulina says. They don't like that stuff. They want you to be their rock, their mountain, their strong tower. All right, we're going to go. Take care. We'll see you next Saturday night.